Abundant Grace International School, we are located right in Obuasi, precisely Bdt-Pre. The school has a number of facilities that aid in learning. We have qualified and trained teachers who are ready and willing to assist the children. The school has many facilities such as the ICT laboratory. We also have a science laboratory. We also have a library. The school has a number of buses which convey the children from their various destinations to the school premises. We have the football team, we have the drama group, we have a lot, and the school is based on the Christian principles. For more inquiries, you can call this number 0541 310 901 0541 670772. Abundant Grace, in God we trust.
Hello viewers, welcome once again to Abundant Grace TV. My name is Abdul Mumin Rafik, and I'll be your pre-tech facilitator for today. Last week, we learned about solid shapes, where we said that solid shapes are magnitude, which have length, height, and then the breadth. We also learned about some examples of solid shapes, to be precise, prisms and then pyramids, where we said that pyramids normally converge at a particular point called the apex, and then prisms also have parallel sides which do not meet. We also looked at some examples of prisms and then pyramids. We looked at the square prism, square pyramid, triangular prism. We also looked at triangular pyramid, square pyramid, and then a cone. Then a cone, we said, is a pyramid with a circular base. They also said that a cylinder is a prism with a circular base. Today, our topic for discussion is surface development. And under that, we shall look at the development of a surface of a square prism. So, without wasting my time, let's take a look at what development actually means. Good. Now, when we say development of surfaces is the spreading out of surfaces of solids to see their true shape. The way of preparing and fabricating patterns on a flat sheet material is by folding to give the required shape. So development is the spreading out of surfaces of solid to see their true shape. Now let's look at the importance of development. Why should we develop objects? The importance of developing objects include the following. One, it helps to see the objects or the solid in its flat shape. It helps to see the objects in its flat shape. It also helps to fabricate objects easily without wasting material. Now, when I say fabricate, it means to manufacture or to construct. Then we also have, it saves time in making the object. So as I said, we are going to develop a square prism. So on this, I have a video which will take us through the procedures in developing a square prism. But before that, let's look at the procedures involved in developing a square prism. One, the first step is that you draw the given plan and front elevation according to the given dimensions. The first step is that you draw the given plan and front elevation according to the given dimensions. Good. Step 2, you project lines. Project lines from the top and bottom of the front elevation to obtain the heights of the side. 2, you project lines from the top and bottom of the front elevation to obtain the height of the side. Step 3, you mark off. You mark off 1 to 2, 2 to 3, 3 to 4, and then 4 to 1 from the plan. From the plan on the projected lines from the front elevation. Then step 4, you draw perpendiculars from 1 to 4 to 1 on the baseline projected from the front elevation. Then the last step, you firm the outline. Now we learned about outline drawing, where we said that is the process whereby we indicate the important parts of a drawing. Good. Now I'll take you through the video, and then as the video displays, I'll be explaining to you the steps further. Good. So that is my T-square on my drawing board. We are first of all going to draw the plan of the square prism according to the dimension we've been given. Good. So I'm going to draw the plan with the dimension we've been given. So that's my T-square. Okay. I'm ensuring that it is rightly placed on my drawing sheet. As you can see, I'm trying to exert pressure on the T-square so that when I'm ruling my line, it wouldn't be curved. Good. I'm exerting pressure so that it will be firmly placed on the drawing sheet. So I draw the baseline of my plan. Then, as we said earlier on, the divider is for transferring measurements from a drawing equipment to your drawing material. That is it. I've transferred the measurements from the drawing equipment to the drawing sheets. Good. I've labeled it 1, 2. Then, as it is a square prism, the base takes the shape of a square. So here, and we know that a square has all angles equal at 90 degrees. So that is it. I'm constructing a 90 degrees angle. That is a 90 degrees angle I'm constructing. So I open to any convenient radius. I draw an arc. I draw a semicircle on my line. Good. I draw arcs on the semicircle with the same radius. Then I open my compass to any convenient radius again. I draw an arc on top. Then another one to intersect the previous one. Very good. You shouldn't shake when doing it. You should relax when doing it. Then I use my set square and my T-square to erect my 90 degrees angle. That is it. Good. So with this, I have my angle erected at what? 90 degrees. That is one part of the square. That is one part of my plan. Good. Then I open to 50 millimeters. That is the dimension we've been given. From 1 to 2. I am using 50 millimeters. You can use 40 millimeters if you are at home. Then I strike an arc to join the perpendicular line. Then I again use my set square and my T-square. Good. So I gently place the set square on the T-square so that I can get an accurate angle. Good. So that is another side of my plan drawn. Good. Another side of my plan drawn. Then I join the other side. To complete my plan. So this is the plan of the square prism. This is the plan of the square prism. Now I'm going to project parts. Project parts from the plan to obtain my front elevation. To obtain my front elevation. Now in doing this, you have to leave a reasonable interval from the plan to the front elevation. Reasonable interval. So I use 2 centimeters. You can decide to use 1 centimeter. But it shouldn't be together. It should leave a reasonable interval. A reasonable interval. So now I'm going to draw the base of my plan. I'm going to draw the base of my plan. Good. I project the sides to get my front elevation. And as you can see, I'm carefully using my set square and my T-square. I'm carefully using my set square and my T-square. And I'm also trying to avoid double lines, since double lines is not accepted in pre-technical skills. That is why I'm careful with the T-square and the set square. Good. That is my front elevation I'm projecting from the plan. Good. From the plan. So I then join the base of my front elevation. I join the base of my front elevation at a reasonable interval I left from the plan. That's my reasonable interval. So you can also, depending, but it shouldn't be too wide, neither should it be too small. Good. So the length or the height of my front elevation is 80 millimeters. Look at the way I'm measuring it. You place the measuring device on the lines, not on the numbers. Not on the numbers. Not on the numbers. Good. So I'm transferring my measurements to the drawing paper. Then I use my T-square again because I want to obtain accurate angles. That is why I'm carefully using my T-square. Good. Then I enclose the top of the front elevation. I enclose the top of the front elevation. So already I have my plan and my front elevation. I'm now going to project the front elevation. I'm going to project the front elevation. That's the projection I'm doing with my T-square firmly attached to the drawing board to avoid curved lines. And then away from the front elevation to the projection line, you leave a reasonable interval. I have chose to use 2 centimeters. You can also decide to use 1 centimeter. Just that it should be what? A reasonable interval. It shouldn't be too wide, neither should it be too close. So that is it. I'm projecting my development parts. Good. Then I enclose the top of the front elevation. I'm enclosing the top of the front elevation. The top of the front elevation. Gently doing it with my T-square. With my T-square. Good. We learned that the T-square is used for drawing horizontal lines. Horizontal lines. We don't use the rule for drawing horizontal lines. We use the T-square and the set square to draw vertical lines. That is why you can see that all my vertical lines, I used the T-square and the set square. And all horizontal lines, I used the T-square. I never used a rule to draw any horizontal line. So I'm going to step off measurement to the development part. So with this, I take any side of my plan. Then I step off 4 times. 1. That is 2. Good. That is 3. And 4. That is it. Good. So the divider, it is used to transfer measurements from the drawing equipment to your drawing material. That's the use of the divider. Good. So I'm going to project the marks on the development side, and I'm carefully doing that with my T-square because they should all be perpendicular. Perpendicular here means that they should be at 90 degrees or at right angle. That is why I'm carefully using the T-square and the set square. You can use any of the set squares, either the 45 set square or the 30-60 degrees set square. I am using the 30-60 degrees set square. So as you can see, I'm firmly placing it so that I can get accurate angles. That it can be at 90 degrees. Then the last part, I enclose it. Now I used these short dashes you see there are used for showing hidden details of an object. Hidden details of an object. This means that when I fold these objects, the hidden lines there, you won't see them. They are not going to be seen. They'll be within the objects. But then we shall see the outlines, the way I've labeled the one, another part to 1. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. I will explain to you why I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 1 at the other edge. So that is my front elevation. That is my front elevation of my square prism. Then this is my plan. The plan of the square prism. The plan of the square prism. Good. Then this part, I'm labeling it, this part is the development. Now students watching, if you do not label the parts, you will be marked down. So the labeling of the part is very, very, very important. If you don't label the parts, the marker might not know what you are doing. The marker might not know what you are doing. So that is it. Development of the surface of a square prism. Of a square prism. Now, after I'm done, I would have to outline it so that we can know the actual drawing from our projection lines. From our projection lines. From our projection lines. So I'm going to do the outline of it. Then this, at this step, you should be careful you don't produce double lines. And double lines are not accepted in pre-technical skills and drawing for that matter. So because I still want my angles to be accurate, I am using my set square and my T-square. So I outline this part. Good. That's the development part. Then I outline the other part. Now, as I said earlier on, development is spreading an object to see its true shape. True shape, to be precise, to see it in a flat form. So now I have 1 and 1 at the edges because when I fold them, the one at the other edge will have to meet the one at the other edge. That is why I have 1 and 1 at the other edge or at both edges. When I fold it, the edges will meet. And then where I have short dashes, they will be within the objects. They are not seen. They are not seen. Good. So I'm still doing my outline drawing. You should be careful you don't paint your work. So at this point, your pencil should be really, really sharp. Good. That is my outline drawing I'm doing. Carefully doing it with my T-square and my set square. As you can see, I'm using the T-square and the set square to draw all vertical lines. All vertical lines. And then the T-square is used for drawing horizontal lines. We don't use rule in drawing horizontal lines in pre-technical skills. It is not accepted. So that is it. I'm outlining my drawing so that we can see the actual parts of the drawing. Here you can decide to ignore the constructional lines. Nobody will mark you down for that. Don't try to erase them. You leave them You don't erase them. So that is it. I'm outlining my figure. I'm outlining my plan. Good. So all those lines I have not deepened or I have not outlined. They are constructional lines. They are constructional lines. So you should leave them. Don't bother cleaning them. You should leave them. Don't bother yourself to clean them. So that is outline drawing I'm doing. Outline drawing will bring out the true shape of my objects. To bring out the true shape of my objects. That is my outline drawing I'm doing. Good. Carefully doing it to avoid double lines. To avoid double lines. Very good. So it is, if it is carefully done, your object should look like this on the screen. If it's carefully done, your object should look like this on the screen. So that is the development of the surface of a square prism. Development of the surface of a square prism. Of a square prism. Good. So this is how our objects will look like if it is neatly and then carefully carried out. So that is it. And remember, label the parts, the front elevation, the plan, and the developments. You have to label them so that the marker would know the various parts. So one last thing, I would have to dimension it. I would have to give it the dimensions. If you leave it like this, it's like doing a cos 90 job. It's like doing a cos 90 job. So I would have to dimension it. State the height of the front elevation and the length of the plan. And the length of the plan. And the length of the plan. So that is it. I'm going to dimension it. And that will be the last stage of the drawing. And then when dimensioning, you leave an interval of say 1 centimeter away from the actual drawing. Away from the actual drawing. Away from the actual drawing. Very good. So I'm dimensioning the front elevation first. So I've decided to use 2. Okay, I used 1 centimeter. So that is it. Away from the actual drawing, 1 centimeter. I'm using a divider because a divider is used to transfer measurements from the drawing instrument to the drawing material. So as you can see, I'm going to draw a vertical line. So I'm using my set square and my T-square. Very good. So I indicate with dimensional arrows. This means that the height from in between the points is 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. I also dimension my plan. I dimension my plan. So as you can see, I'm carefully using my set square and my T-square to draw my vertical line. Good. I'm dimensioning the plan. So that is how dimensioning is carried out. You leave an interval of 1 millimeter. Leave an interval of 1 millimeter away from the actual drawing. So again, I measure with my divider, then I transfer it onto my drawing. So that is it. Then to the other side too. Or from here I can try to use my T-square. Good. So as you can see, I'm going to draw a horizontal line. And it's been done with the T-square. That is my horizontal line. Dimensional line, of course. So I indicate with dimensional arrows. Okay. So 50 millimeters. 50 millimeters. And then the height is also 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. 80 millimeters. Good. So my drawing is now complete. We now have the development of the surface of a square prism. Development of the surface of a square prism. Of a square prism. Of a square prism. So this is how our object will look like. So our cherished viewers, this brings us to the end of our lessons today. Thank you for watching. Hoping to meet you again next week.
Abundant Grace International School, we are located right in Obuasi, precisely Bdt-Pre. The school has a number of facilities that aid in learning. We have qualified and trained teachers who are ready and willing to assist the children. The school has many facilities such as the ICT laboratory. We also have a science laboratory. We also have a library. The school has a number of buses which convey the children from their various destinations to the school premises. We have the football team, we have the drama group, we have a lot, and the school is based on the Christian principles. For more inquiries, you can call this number 0541 310 901 0541 670772. Abundant Grace, in God we trust.